Welcome back to the Eye on College Basketball Podcast on CBS Sports Network. As I noted earlier, the regular season is 18 weeks long. 9 of those weeks are now in the books. That makes this the midseason. So why not some midseason All-American teams? Norlander, I put together a list of 5. I got a few reserves, too. I'll let you go first if you'd like. Give me your All-American team if you had to publish one right now. Sure.
Before I reveal never mind. They're revealing it right now.
It has been revealed. I'm looking at it.
I've got a question I want to tag on this before we get out of this segment too, though. Braden Smith at Purdue, Joshua Jefferson at Iowa State, AJ DeBanza at BYU, Cam Boozer at Duke, and Yaxel Lendenborg at Michigan are my 5. And right now Boozer's the front runner for National Player of the Year. Lendenborg and DeBanza are not that far behind. Braden Smith is pacing to set the all-time record for assists in a season for the NCAA, and he leads the nation in assists. He plays for a one-loss Purdue team that's the best offense in the country. In my estimation, he is the best point guard in America, so that's why he's on my first team. Joshua Jefferson, I'm going to read off his stat line right now for an undefeated team, okay? 17.5 points, 7.3 rebounds, 5.4 assists. He's shooting almost 55% from the field, 39% from 3, and averaging more than a steal and a half per game for an undefeated team. The reason why I think he's not getting as much run as he should is it's Iowa State. He hasn't been a big-name player for 2 or 3 years. He is, unquestionably in my mind, one of the 5 most productive and reliable players in the sport. So I had him on my list, narrowly beating Christian Anderson at Texas Tech, who is fighting with his own teammate, JT Toppin. Texas Tech might be the school that winds up with 2 players on the All-America list at the end of the season. Christian Anderson is at more than 20 points, 7.5 assists, 3.7 rebounds as a point guard, shooting 43.5% from the field. Texas Tech has a huge game against Houston looming here this week. We'll see whether it's him and Toppin, how they're jockeying. But literally in this case, it was because of Toppin's productivity that kept Anderson off my first team list. He is closer than I think a lot of people think.
So it's a little bit like trying to make a list of national championship contenders. If you cut it off at undefeated plus 5 more, you're going to end up leaving off some teams that you're like, I can't believe I'm leaving this team off my list. Similarly, you pick 5 players to build an All-American team. It is, I think, impossible to not leave off somebody that you can reasonably say, man, that person deserves it. I don't know how they're not on it. Because, to your point, Joshua Jefferson has been awesome at Iowa State. I did not list him as one of my 5. Braden Smith, on track to maybe become the NCAA's all-time assist leader. I did not put him on my first team. Felt sick about it.
Hold on. Listen, for our TV viewers, they might not be familiar with this. Parrish has made a claim, particularly the past couple of years.
Yeah.
The gauge shifts, but it's anywhere between 42%, 48% Boilermaker.
Yeah.
You are running on empty if you're not putting the starting point guard of the best offense and the leading assist player, one of the best, most efficient players in the country, as a midseason first-team All-American. If you're not going to do that, I don't want to hear how much Boilermaker you are anymore, and don't try and tell the Purdue fans either.
My percentage of Boilermaker fluctuates, as you know. A little bit like my weight, if we're being honest. Fluctuates a little bit, and I don't feel good about it. But I went with my point guard being Bennett Sturtz from Iowa. I sort of hinted at this on Sunday's episode of the Eye on College Basketball Podcast. I joked that we were going to get to a point where Josh, our producer, is making a YouTube graphic that says, are we sure? Are we sure Braden Smith's even the best point guard in the Big Ten? And the reason that's not like an outlandish thing to say is because of Bennett Sturtz. He's been awesome. 17.8 points, 5.2 assists, 51.6% from the field, 43.4% from 3. He is shooting better percentages from the field and from 3 than Braden Smith. His Iowa team is not as good as that Purdue team, I don't think, but they are better than they were supposed to be. They look like an NCAA tournament team. They are ranked in the top 25 and 1 right now, 17th with a 12-2 record. I got Bennett Sturtz right now as a first-team All-American guard. In the backcourt, and this is another one where you got to leave somebody off. I went with LeBaron Philon at Alabama, 21.5 points for an Alabama team that I would pick right now to win the SEC, 5.4 assists. He's a career best 53.6% from the field, 38.6% from three. He's been terrific, has had some big games. So my starting guards would be Bennett Sturts and LeBaron Philon, which would have me leaving off Braden Smith, Joshua Jefferson, and my other reserve would be Kingston Flemings. I'll get to my other first-teamers, but right now my reserves would be Braden Smith, Kingston Flemings, and Joshua Jefferson, with my starting guards being Bennett Sturts, LeBaron Philon. You pick up your team from here.
Well, I gave you my full team. The only other reserve that I hadn't mentioned that I'm wondering if you put on your list was Caleb Wilson, who's been tremendous for North Carolina. I think he's knocking on the door of first-team status, but I'm guessing you're going to have the same front court. Like, you're going to have Debanza, Boozer, and Lendenborg, right? I mean, that's kind of inarguable. Exactly. If you don't have one of those three players on your first-team All-American list, like, I need to look into some stuff here. I assume we agree on those three.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot we got the graphic of your entire team. So, yes, I would close out mine with Debanza, Boozer, and Lendenborg. So, 5-man All-American team right now. Sturts, Philon, Debanza, Boozer, Lendenborg. My reserves, Braden Smith, Kingston Flemings, and Joshua Jefferson. But, I don't – any of those guys, obviously Smith and Jefferson, could reasonably be called first-team All-Americans right now. And even though – I don't think anybody thought Kingston Flemings would be Houston's best player this season, and most probably didn't believe he'd be their best freshman because he wasn't their highest-ranked freshman. He has been their best player and has been one of the best players in the country. And I'm at the point where if you told me this was the year of the freshman and it started out as a conversation about A.J. Debanza, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, even to a lesser degree, Michael Brown, Nate Ament, Darius Acuff, that when we got to the end of it, the guy who was named the most outstanding player of the Final Four was a totally different freshman named Kingston Flemings. Like, that would not be crazy to me.
Like, what's going on here? I was in on the Kingston. You're taking my Kingston Fleming shine. Like, I was in on this guy weeks ago, and suddenly in the past, 96 hours, it's Parrish out of nowhere. He wants to become this guy's agent. What's going on?
I would like to become Kingston Fleming's agent. It sounds lucrative. I don't have much experience in the agent business, but I think I could figure it out. We'll just take a max rookie deal. Yes, I would love to be Kingston Fleming's agent. As it is, I'm just sitting here talking to you. We can both be in love with him. I'm willing to share him if you are.
I'm willing to share him. And I do think that he is a very good projected potential first-team All-American who's not there now, who could be there when we're talking about this, if we're talking about it at the end of February. But it just reinforces to me the outrageous, this one I want to get to before we get out of here, the outrageous amount of talent. When I was building this out, Parrish, the amount of really good players, not just on good teams, but productivity. Like I mentioned, JT Toppin, he wouldn't be in the conversation for first-team All-American, but he's got to be an All-American at this point. You run down the list. I felt as though the candidates to be even considered for first team and then into the second team window, we're like 18, 20 players deep. We are not hurting for nominees here. Another sign of what I've been saying and really beating this drum for the past 2 months. I do genuinely believe we are living in one of the best seasons for this sport in 10 or so years, if not longer. And the talent backs that up. The amount of national championship contenders backs that up.
And it is interesting, and then we'll move on. But both of these things can be true at the same time. The largest conversation connected to the sport over the past week or two has been about the chaotic nature of eligibility decisions. Former draft picks coming back to college basketball. What does this mean for the sport? Rick Pitino, Hall of Famer, tweeting things like, "The sport I've loved for 40 years is no longer here." And all of that is true to some degree. But if you just watch the games are awesome. If you can just block out the other stuff and just be like, hey, there's a game tonight and these guys are playing. The season has been awesome. There's a lot of stuff outside of the stuff that happens on the court that has made it bumpy on some level, but the actual product that we're watching is top shelf college basketball stuff. And the idea that this many players could reasonably be called All-Americans at this point or have a shot to get there, I think underlines that. By the way, P.J. Haggerty, consensus second-team All-American last season, is statistically awesome again this season. We haven't even mentioned his name. But like if Kansas State were to get going, he would be a part of that conversation as well. Incredible talent in the sport. A lot of it will be on display once again later on tonight.